Now let's see how to analyze the critical path. The critical path is a sequence of activities that take the longest time to complete. The length of the critical path defines how long the project will take to complete. And the non-critical path is a sequence of activities that you can delay and still finish the project in the shortest time possible. And the slack time is the maximum amount of time that you can delay an activity and still finish the project in the shortest time possible. Now let's see some definitions. The start and finish dates. We use the 4 dates: earliest start date, earliest finish date, latest start date, and latest finish date to analyze the critical path. And we analyze the critical path through analyzing the dependency diagrams. We use the forward path to determine the critical path through computing the earliest start and finish dates for each activity. And we use the backward path to determine the slack times by computing the latest start and finish dates for each activity. We follow the following rules to compute the start and finish times. Firstly, after a node is finished, we are going to proceed to the next node that's reachable through a transition from the current node. And secondly, to start a node, all nodes from this node transitions to that node are possible must be complete. Now let's see an example. For this example, suppose we have 5 activities, and activity 1 needs 5 weeks to complete. Activity 2 needs 1 week, and activity 3 needs 1 week, activity 4 needs 3 weeks, and activity 5 needs 2 weeks. So we can start from activity 1 or activity 3. Let's say that we start from activity 1. And the earliest start date is start of week 1, and the earliest finish date is end of week 5. Then we go to activity 2. We can see that the earliest start date of activity 2 is the start of week 6, and the earliest finish date of activity 2 is the end of week 6. Then we go to activity 3. The earliest start date is the start of week 1, and the earliest finish date is the end of week 1. Then we go to activity 4. The earliest start date is the start of week 2, and the earliest finish date is the end of week 4. And finally, we go to activity 5. The earliest start date is the start of week 6, and the earliest end of date is the end of week 7. So we can see that the project duration is actually 7 weeks. Now let's see the backward path analysis. For the backward path analysis, we start from the end of the project duration. So we can start from activity 5. So from activity 5, the latest finish date is the end of week 7, and the latest start date is start of week 6. Then because activity 1 and activity 4 have transitions to activity 5, then we go to activity 1 and activity 4. So for activity 1, the latest finish date is the end of week 5, and activity 4, the latest finish date is the end of week 5. And for activity 4, the latest start of date is the start of week 3, and activity 1, the latest start date is the start of week 1. Then we go to activity 3. Then for the activity 3, the latest finish date is the end of week 2, and the latest start date is the start of week 2. And finally, we go to activity 2. The latest end date is the end of week 7, and the latest start date is the start of week 7. Now let's see how to compute the slack times. The slack time of an activity is equal to the latest start date minus the earliest start date. So for example, the slack time for task activity 4 is equal to the latest start date, which is week 3, minus by early start date is week 2. Finally, the slack time for A4 is 1 week. So after we compute the slack time for the 5 activities, we can see that the tasks on the critical path have no slack time. We can use the critical path analysis to assess where parallel activity can be performed, and to assess the shortest time in which you can complete a project and the resources needed to execute a project. We can use the analysis to assess the sequence of activities, the scheduling and the timings involved, and to assess the task priorities, and to assess the most efficient way of shortening time on urgent projects. That's all. Thank you.